Yo, it's Red Supreme back in the place to be. Well, this is King Supreme TV, man. Early, up early with the game. Let's get some of you brothers up in here. Let's get it. I wanted to talk about this one this morning because it's relevant to the topics I've been covering. This especially this week. I know, man. There's a lot of things going on, but right, we're gonna put things in proper perspective, man. So tap on in, let's have a conversation. And let's get this stream in the algorithm, y'all. Yeah. Now, I bring this up for a good reason, man, and I want you guys to tap in with us, man, and support the show. You already know. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to my brothers in the chat, man. Shorty McGriff, SR Son, right? A Seal 95, man. Shout out to you, bro. Now, don't get it twisted, man. Check out the title and you're gonna hear me out. Just hear me out. Um, how could I say this? You had some black women who rocked with Kevin Samuels, but at the same time, you had a lot of black women who hated Kevin Samuels, right? And like when I spoke on the divestors yesterday, I spoke on the divestors and that ruffled some feathers, right? Like, um, I do understand where FBA is coming from. You know what I mean? I'm a foundational black American, and I had one of my female supporters. Her name is Nikki, and shout out to Nikki. Much love to you. She said when I spoke on the divester, she said, "Red, the reason why we say tethers is because sometimes foundational black Americans get blamed for some of the things that tethers do, right?" And I get it. That's actually true. But you got to be balanced, right? Because in the FBA movement, you got a lot of people who tend to say tethers, 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 when the reality of it is this. This is what it is with me. I'm balanced. If a tether does something, I'm going to say you can't throw that off on FBA. Now, when FBA women do something, or if FBA men do something, I'm saying, hold on, we got to fix these problems because we can't deflect and throw that on tethers if these were foundational black Americans who did it. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand, this is what I want you guys to understand. When white people do something, if a white person does something to a black person, we don't care if it was a Russian or Ukrainian, an Italian or whatever. We're gonna look at that and say that was a white man who did it, and that's exactly how we're gonna chop it up. We're gonna chop it up to where, oh man, that was a white person who did this. All of these white people have the same mindset when it comes to black people, anti-black racism, right? That's how we're gonna look at it. But one thing you're gonna notice about me is the balance that I give you guys, right? The honesty and the balance. Realness, authentic. We're really in it. Now, I'm not one of these guys who make content telling you guys to not date black women because that's what I deal with. I deal with black women. I'm not really into the other races like that. I deal with black women. But just because I date black women, just because I have genuine love for black women, that doesn't mean that they're above criticism. The same way you see me, the same way that I hold black men accountable, like with the Jesse Lee Petersons, the Officer Tatum's, and things like that. Somebody tried to tell me Jesse Lee Peterson was a tether. I said, man, that dude is not a tether. By far, he's not a tether. Officer Tatum is no tether. That's a black man. That's an FBA man. Shout out to everybody. Hit the like button, man. Get us in the algorithm, like I said, man. I told y'all, man, we're going to go live on this channel, and we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about a wide range of things, right? That's what we do over here. I don't make content about one particular thing all the time. I like to talk about everything that affects us as a whole. That's what I do over here. You know, what's the female name? Stacey Charles, the chick that got unalived by that white guy in Baton Rouge. I covered that story now. People would say, well, she was a tether. Well, check this out. Culturally, she was FBA, even though she might come from an immigrant background. Like, look at Notorious Big. Notorious Big mother was Jamaican, right? But culturally, he was FBA. That's where he got his game from. That's where he got his name from. Kool Herc. See, we can't separate these arguments. We got to be fair all across the board. Let's be real. Kool Herc. People kept saying that Kool Herc was Jamaican, but guess what? Culturally, Kool Herc was FBA. His mother was Jamaican, right? Just like you had some of these Afro Puerto Ricans that was in hip hop in the early days. People say, well, such and such was half Puerto Rican. Yes, but culturally, these people were FBA. That's the difference. So the same thing with this Stacey Charles. That woman was from New Orleans. She wasn't raised in Haiti. So culturally, she was FBA. Let's just keep it a stack. That's all I'm saying. Now, when it's time to stand up for FBA people, I do that. I was one of the main dudes out here on the front line defending foundational Black Americans when it comes to hip hop. When the Puerto Ricans kept saying that they're the co-founders of hip hop, I did a great job at shutting that argument down. You know, when it comes to a lot of situations, when it's time to go in on these brothers who be tap dancing, who goes in on these tap dancers? Red Supreme, King Supreme. So you can't expect for me to agree with everything you guys say, right? And I just got to keep it a buck straight down the middle. Shout out to Big E, man. Moderators, drop the Cash App in the chat. You already know. Well, $ Red 1803 is a lowercase. It's like a lowercase R, and I think some people might mistake that. So let's get up in here, man. Hey, man, we rocking with the people today. You know, tap on in and show some of this beautiful love. Desmond Hill, you already knowing the deal. Mike Bailey. Let's get into this content. Now, the reason that a lot of Black women and, you know, Vivica Fox and a lot of Black women hated Kevin Samuels, that's because Kevin Samuels told them the truth. He was honest with them, right? But Kevin Samuels didn't go around telling you to not date Black women. Kevin Samuels didn't go around telling you that Black women are the worst women on planet Earth. He never said that. He gave Black women some constructive criticism, and a lot of Black women, unfortunately, hated him for telling the truth. He was hated for telling the truth. There was no reason for anybody to hate Kevin Samuels, right? Let's get into this content. I want y'all to hear what these ladies are saying. Shout out to Desmond Hill for being the first person to bless the Cash App.
Love and truth and power to you. When all he is Kevin Samuels, but you're embarrassing me, okay? You keep calling Kevin Samuels' phone being desperate, okay? You keep calling him like he about to really give you some advice.
No, it's all good, Biggie. No, Kevin Samuels gave a lot of advice. The thing is, women like this only want praise. They don't want constructive criticism. A lot of FBA women stop supporting me because I'm honest with them. And that's the problem with women in general. It ain't just Black women. Women in general don't want to hear the truth. They just don't want to hear the truth. Like when you tell women the truth, you're considered a woman hater, a misogynist. But it's even worse in the Black community. Why? Because a lot of these women were not raised with their fathers. So anytime a man gives them pushback or any form of criticism, they consider that hate because they're not used to people telling them the truth. Look at the Black church. You're not going to find masculine men in these Black churches. They get paid to pander to women. Look at the conscious community. They tell women they're queens all day, and it's cool to say nice things to women, but at some point, you got to be honest with them. You got to be honest with them about their behavior and why they're not getting married in large numbers. The black church will never make progress when it comes to relationships. Why? Because they're not honest with the women in these congregations. What happens when you give a child candy and never hold them accountable? Then one day you say, no, you got to do your homework. The child throws a temper tantrum because they're not used to accountability. So it's the same thing with the women. If you praise women all the time, then all of a sudden you start telling them the truth. They're not used to that. They're gonna look at that like you're attacking them. They're gonna say he's attacking us, he's bashing us, when you're just giving them some feedback and constructive criticism. Kevin told women, when you have children and you're over 30 and you got all these high standards, that's gonna keep you single. You know what I mean? You can't come to the dating scene as a single mother with all these high standards. And think about it. What Kevin was saying is this. Kevin didn't tell these women that they can't get a man. What Kevin told them is the type of man you want is going to have standards as well. And the reality of it is this: a man who makes that type of money is not looking for a woman over 35 with children, especially if he wants to start his own family. Kevin Samuels was honest with these women and they hated him for his honesty.
Like he really about to speak love and being desperate. Okay, you keep embarrassing me. Okay, you keep calling Kevin Samuels' phone being desperate. Okay, you keep calling him like he about to really give you some advice. Like he really about to speak love and truth and power to you, when all he is spitting out is hate, because he hates black women. And we are taking advice, we are entertaining someone who is broken, someone who has 2 divorces under his belt, someone that perceives this image. He is not directing healing and growth to the community. The people that are constantly listening to him, he is directing you down a ditch. Okay? He is directing you down a ditch. And the fact of the matter is, if you keep listening to this brother, you're going to be out here blocking your blessings with a black woman. And this is why
it's not blocking your blessings with a black woman. What I say to women all the time, you gotta give men what they want. And I say this to black women. See, this is the thing. Kevin Samuels would ask these women, like, okay, what do you want from a man? What are you looking for? Do you want to get married? They'll say, okay, I want to get married. He'll say, dress size. How many children do you have? He's asking these questions because he's taking them somewhere. He's saying, okay, does it matter when it comes to money? What type of money do you want a man to make? And they'll say, I want a man that makes this amount of money. So these women got all these standards, right? And Kevin Samuels tell them, okay, think about a man of that caliber. What would he want from a woman? What would a man of that caliber want from a woman? And it's crickets. They don't know, but they can tell you all day what they want from a man. And Kevin Samuels gave these women a reality check. What he was telling them is this: okay, a man of that caliber is going to want this from a woman. I'm a man myself. I'm telling you what these men want. And every time he asked them, what does a man of that caliber require from a woman? They could never give an answer, but they can tell you all day what they wanted from a man. So Kevin gave these women a reality check. That's all he did. And bitter women like this, they're part of the problem. They're part of the problem.
He hates black women is because most of the black women that are calling his phone is not healed. And we have to understand the power of being healed as a black woman, because we can heal the nation if we do this. When we are healed black women, we make better choices. So we're not going to let anybody nut in us.
Well, how come the black woman is the least married group of women? How come the black woman is the least married group of women in America? Now, I'm not saying this to attack black women. It's just a fact. Don't get mad at me for stating the fact. And listen, I'm not saying this to attack our people, but at some point, if we're gonna heal, healing starts with honesty. It's impossible to heal if you can't deal with honesty. This is why you see so many women who are single moms and they're not married, because they don't like the truth. The first part of the when you think about the healing process, I don't care if it's relationships, I don't care if it's family issues. You got to start with honesty. And if we're not being honest, it's impossible to heal.
So, we are going to choose self. We are going to choose love for ourselves and not being desperate for a man to save us. I just want to bust your bubble real quick. A high value man will not save you just because he makes six figures. He is not going to save you. So we have to understand this modern roles that has been programmed in us at an early age to believe that something outside of us will save us. And we have to begin to look within, Queen, to realize that we have been programmed to think and to put men, to put someone on this high pedestal, that thinking that someone is our boss, someone is our master, someone has charge over us. And we have to stop asking for permission and begin to take control of our own destiny. We have women calling Kevin Samuel's phone asking for permission to be in her power. For permission. Is she enough? Is she worthy? Can I even get a man? He is not your fate. He is not the dictator of your life. You have to drive.
No, what he was doing is Kevin gave women a reality check. He told them, if you want a man, what type of man do you want? And they told him, okay, this is the type of man I want. All Kevin Samuels did was tell them, a man of this caliber is going to require this from a woman. He never told them that they can't get a man. They told Kevin what type of man they wanted, and he said, okay, a man of this caliber is going to require this from a woman. Can you provide that? And most of the times, no. But he never once told them that they couldn't get a man. The type of man that you want, you might not qualify for that type of man because you don't have what he's looking for. The first step to healing is honesty. And one thing that these women don't like is honesty. They hate the truth. They hated Kevin Samuels for telling the truth.
Car. You have to fly your plane. You have to have the whip skills to have control of your life instead of being desperate and entertaining.
I don't know if this is a man. It might be a woman. Solo XXX. Yeah, you trolling. You trolling.
A clown. We are entertaining someone that is broken. So broken people will continue to hurt broken people. Hurt people hurt people. It is simple. But when you are healed, you are not going to entertain foolishness. This is surface level stuff we're talking about here. We asking, how much money do you make? What dress size are you? How big is your big toe?
Dress size matters, because if you want a man that makes a certain amount of money, your weight will matter. The same way that women say your money matters. You see how all those women say, okay, I want a man that can provide this. Okay, so if a man money matters, then your weight and dress size matters. Men, we are visual. The first thing that attracts a man to a woman is her physicality, her beauty. The next is femininity. The first thing you notice about a woman is her beauty. Then once you start talking to her and dealing with her, then you're going to see if she's feminine. Do she possess femininity, or does she brings masculine energy? But the first thing you notice is her physicality and beauty. See, these women are hypocrites and they hate the truth. Don't let these women fool you for 1 second. The money that you make as a man matters. So if our money matters, your weight matters. So that's why Kevin Samuels would ask them, what's your dress size? Because a man of this caliber is going to demand that a woman is in shape.
What size is your bra? We asking all the surface, but we're not going within. We're not asking, sweetheart, how is your soul doing today?
First, you have to start with the outer appearance, because that's the first thing we notice about you. And then the next step is, let's see if she's feminine. Let's see if she brings feminine energy. Let's see if she's fit, friendly, feminine, and cooperative. So we start from the outside, then we dig into the inside. This woman don't know what she's talking about. The next thing Kevin Samuels asked them was like, okay, like you can have a conversation with a woman and see if she's feminine. But the first thing we notice is your outer appearance, your beauty. That's where it starts. Then once we spark a conversation with you, then we take a deep dive to your insides. Literally sometimes, but you get what I'm saying. So we don't, yes, we judge. Listen, the judgment starts off with your outer appearance. And then once we spark the conversation, we get to know you as a person. The conversation is going to let us know if this woman has feminine energy or if she has masculine energy. So we're not just dealing with the outside, we deal with the inside as well. But there's steps to everything. And what is the first step? Get to know the woman. What's the first thing that attracts you to a woman? Her physical appearance, her beauty. Then after that, you spark a conversation, you get to know her better. Then you're going to realize if she's feminine or not. Then you're going to realize if she has a good spirit or not. This woman is confused. She's delusional and lost. She ain't got no damn business giving advice to no one.
Is your heart healed or is your heart still broken? Because it seems like your heart is broken. Keep calling a clown and just getting yourself embarrassed over and over again on national platforms. And this is what it is causing. And this is what we striving to. This is how desperate we are, asking another man, are we worthy, black woman? We asking a man that has 2 divorces under his belt, are you worthy? You asking a man, can you have permission to live your life? Doesn't that sound like delusion? Doesn't that sound like Looney Tunes? Like, we have to realize, black woman, how powerful you are with or without anybody by your side. You have to realize that you don't need anything or anyone outside of you to make you feel whole, baby girl. And when
That's not true. Women were put here to be a man's companion. You were created to be a helpmeet, not some independent boss chick. And this is what's wrong with women. Women like this keeps other women single because she's not smart enough to realize what Kevin was doing. She made it seem like Kevin was just talking about women's physical appearance. When he took a deep dive, it was deeper than your physical appearance, but that's where it starts because that's the first thing that we notice about women. Then once we get to know you, then we realize if you're feminine or not. Then we realize if you have the qualities that we're looking for. That comes later. She's a terrible listener. She's delusional. She ain't got no damn business giving advice to anyone.
once you know that you are whole within, you will no longer seek for validation. You will no longer seek for guidance from anybody. You will no longer seek for things to fill you up. You will realize your value. You will realize your worth, and you will step boldly, confidently in your truth and in your power. And if anybody is not okay with that, you going to have them step and kick rocks because you okay with that. You okay with yourself. And this is the place that we got to get to. You have to be okay with yourself. You keep running from you. You keep running from yourself and entering into these toxic relationships because you are so desperate to not be alone. Then this is when you are going to continue to be hard-headed, and God will continue to give you things that you are not ready for. God will continue to place distractions in your life because you're not going towards destiny, because you keep putting your faith in a man instead of your faith in God. You have to put God on a pedestal, baby. You have to put God the center of your life, baby. You have to make sure that you realize God is the source of your happiness. You are joy. You are peace. You are bliss. You are abundance without anything or anyone.
All Kevin Samuels did was tell women what men wanted from them, especially a man of a certain caliber. This is what he's going to want from a woman. They hated Kevin Samuels for being honest with them. it makes sense why a lot of these women deal with feminine men, because they don't want men who are honest with them. If you're honest with them, they're going to say that you're attacking them. I told this one chick that I know, she had 3 baby daddies, and I told her, I said, well, the fact that you have 3 baby daddies, it might be a red flag to a certain man. He might look at you like, you're terrible with relationships because you got 3 baby daddies and you're not with any of them. And I didn't say it to her in a mean way. I was just being honest. If you got 3 baby daddies, that's a major red flag to any man that's looking for a wife. These women hate you. They hate it when you're honest with them. One minute they'll say, I want you to be honest. I don't want you lying to me. But then if I told the same woman, well, guess what? You got 3 baby daddies. That's gonna turn off a lot of men. Now, a lot of men wouldn't mind sleeping with you because she was an attractive woman. But when it comes to somebody wiping you up, that's not going to be easy, because they're going to say 3 baby daddies and you ain't with none of them. And I'm pretty sure you didn't have relationships outside of your baby daddies. Those are red flags. You know what I mean? A man is gonna judge you for that. But when you're honest with them, you're hated for that. So the reality of it is this: women don't want you to lie to them, and they don't want you to be honest with them. So all you can do is be yourself, because they're gonna find a problem regardless. If you're lying to them, that's a problem. If you're telling them the truth, that is a problem as well. These women are psychologically broken. They're emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically broken. They're never satisfied. You tell them the truth, they're gonna say that you're bashing them. You lie to them, they're gonna say you're a liar, and you're never honest with them.
So once you realize that you are joy right at this moment, when you have hardship going on, obstacles in your face, left and right, you are still joy. You have to realize the power of this tongue, baby. You can speak life or death. But if you keep believing that is no good people out here because you're not good within yourself, then this is when you're going to continue to keep bumping into frogs. You're going to continue to bump into clowns because you keep portraying yourself.
A lot of these women are clowns themselves. That's why they run through. That's why so many men have ran through them already, and they're not in a stable relationship with anybody. How you gonna tell a woman who's a clown herself that she deserves some high caliber man, as if this high caliber man don't have standards himself? This is crazy.
With the foolery. So this is what you're going to get. You're only going to get what you're ready for. God is not going to send you someone that is healed, willing to take care of you and help you when you can't even take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. By taking care of yourself, you have to control.
All right, man. We're gonna play 3 more minutes of this, and then we're gonna get into that Vivica Fox clip. I prefer that you guys bless the cash app. Make sure that you guys hit the like button, man, and support the show. Early morning conversations with King Supreme. Let's finish this out.
Your emotions. You have to have a positive attitude. You have to be inspirational within yourself and get inspired. You have to stop looking outside to be inspired and motivated, and get up every day knowing that miracles can happen. Anything is possible because you are in control of your destiny. And once you realize that you are in control of your happiness, not a man, not your job, not your boss, not...
See, some of these women can tell you things about God that make sense, and some of these women might have an education, but they can't apply this to the real world, especially when it comes to their relationships. You notice it don't matter how smart these women are, it's hard for them to apply this so-called knowledge to their relationships and how they deal with men. It's just a bunch of words at the end of the day. You can't apply it. It's like a bum on the street corner that's saying a lot of things that make sense, but he can't apply that knowledge to his real life. That's what you get from a lot of these women.
Anybody else, you control the good things that are attracting to you. You are a magnet of love. You are a magnet with money. You are a magnet with abundance when you...
All right, enough of her. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. I've heard enough. Let's go to this clip right here with Vivica Fox and what she said about check it out. Check it out, brother.
So big kid.
Let's go back right here, right here.
heavens above.
One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality.
So she said that it was karma. Kevin Samuels being honest with women had something to do with his passing. My God, man. Listen, the black church is not going to take the time to correct women because they want their money. Brothers in the conscious community, they're not going to be honest with black women about why they're in these bad situations in the first place. They're not going to be honest with them because they want their money. I told you guys earlier that black women and women in general hate to hear the truth, especially when it's time to give them constructive criticism. They don't want it. It's kryptonite to them. She said that Kevin Samuels passed away because he criticized black women, and that was his karma because he was honest with women. This woman is too old to be this foolish. Kevin Samuels' health issues had nothing to do with his honesty. Like, just because he was honest with women, that his passion, that was karma. His passion was somehow karma because he was honest with women. And what he said was, he didn't say that women over 38 were this and that. What he said was, when you get older in life and you got babies, it's going to be harder for you to find the type of man that you're looking for, because the type of man that you're looking for is going to have standards himself. Honesty. The first step to healing is honesty. I don't care if you're counseling somebody about their family issues, their mental health issues, their financial issues, or their relationship issues. The first step to healing is honesty. But we all know that these women hate it when you're honest with them, especially when you're giving them some constructive criticism. But somehow Kevin Samuels' death had something to do with him criticizing women.
You haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality.
Who gives a shit what you give, Vivica Fox? You can't keep a man. One of your biggest regrets is you never had a kid. You never turned out a plus sign. See, I got a problem with women like you, thinking that you talk as though you're someone to be appeased. Shut up, Vivica Fox. I'm about tired of seeing your twisted up mouth everywhere. Every time you come on camera, your face is twisted up. We get it. You're a smart, sassy, strong black woman. Do you have another gear? Do you have another character? You've been playing the same character for the last 30 years. We get it. 50 Cent, and Curtis Jackson responded and said, man, my ex-lover still want me. 17 years ago, we was together for 4 months, and she's still mad. Ma Badoom Doom must be better than I thought. Kudos to you, 50 Cent, for smiling through it. I mean, have you guys looked at the way Vivica looks these days? Every time you see her, it looks like she done sucked on a bag of lemons. Now, I remember back in the 90s when Vivica was hot. Fine. But Vivica, but so many women like Vivica A. Fox fall into a broadcast where I said, women have already met their guy, and they blew it. I mean, think about when you see Fox Soul, Vivica Fox, Claudia Johnson, and y'all feeling me, and Lisa Ray. Don't y'all see a bunch of old women and be like, y'all are 40 and 50 years old. Y'all should have been somebody's grandma by now.
Hell no.
All right, so that was Kevin right there. So let's go to the next clip, right?
He is the again, I want to be very sensitive with how I speak about,
him because he has passed on, right? And we want to be respectful of the people that have transitioned on to other things, so to speak, right? But I
See, the thing about it is this the reason that you got to love channels like this, because if you're in the conscious community, you can't be honest with black women, because black women are the main people who support you. If you even if you, and I got to be real, I'm a foundational black American, but I got to be honest, even if you're in the FBA community and you're brutally honest with women, they're going to get pissed off with you about that. You're going to lose supporters. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you, I'm speaking from experience, and I'm telling you what I see. I'm speaking on the things that I see. Right? So if you're in any one of these movements or congregation, being honest with black, think about it like this. You don't see masculine men in the black church. You see a bunch of men pandering to women. Same thing in these conscious communities. You see a bunch of black men pandering to women for money, but they're not being honest with them. You're running a church, and most of these women are single moms. A lot of these women come from broken homes. Instead of being honest with them, you pander to them to get their money. This is why you think black men avoid the church, because the church is full of single moms who don't want to hear the truth, and and you're going to see a bunch of black men pandering and simping to these women to get sex from them or to get their money. That's why black men, for the most part, avoid these black churches. There's no masculinity in these black churches. It's a bunch of pandering and simping for money.
really do feel like there was a level of hate or disdain for Kevin Samuels, especially from the black female community. And I think I have the reason why. So let's just start here, okay? So Kevin Samuels was the first black man to ever tell black women the unabashed, brutally honest.
He was not the first black man. I was on YouTube saying this. The thing is, my channel never blew up. My channel was not as big, but you're wrong. You had black men way before Kevin Samuels being honest with black women about their flaws, giving them constructive criticism. Kevin Samuels was not the first black man holding black women accountable. These women are delusional, and I get it. They just go off of what they see. Whatever's popular, they gravitate to that. But she really don't know what she's talking about. But she's not being disrespectful. So I don't have anything bad to say about the lady. I'm just here to correct her. No, Kevin Samuels was not the first man. He was not the first black man being brutally honest with black women. He was not.
Unapologetic, straight Samuels, especially from the black female community. And I think I have the reason why. So let's just start here, okay? So Kevin Samuels was the first black man to ever tell black women the unabashed, brutally honest, unapologetic, straightforward and direct, straight, no chase, truth. And even present day, as of like today, okay, 2022, we still have a really hard time hearing that truth from men, specifically black men, because what other man is going to try to call us or pull us to the floor? If there are any other judgments or ideologies about how we perform or how we behave, these are not things that we are going to hear direct, right? Because other cultures, some, not all, right, people of other cultures can tend to placate black women as if they are our friends or our supporters. Or
you're right about that. The black church is full of 304s and a bunch of single moms. That's just the truth. Now, you might see some black women who are married here and there, but you're not going to find masculine black men in these churches. You're just not going to find them there. Right? This is why black men, for the most part, avoid church.
Are advocates, but behind closed doors, it's a different story. They may not be saying to us directly what they're really thinking or what they're feeling, right? And black men, also being our counterparts, are the people that have a very close eye and close view as to our behavior and what we do, what we don't do, what we say, how we behave. However, even them, okay, this is our brothers, our uncles, our dads, our partners, whatever, historically, right, have not felt comfortable or permissible where there was a space given for them to pull us to the floor. So as a result, black women are not primed, prepared, groomed to hear the brutal, honest truth. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely something that came to the surprise of a lot of Black women, and it was just really, 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 really hard for us to digest. There's also something that I thought about that I'm calling the Black female survival idol paradigm, right? Which essentially, to me,
I like her because she's honest. She said that Black women were not prepared for the honest, for brutal honesty. They're not, because if you got men telling you if you're used to men telling you what you want to hear because they want to sleep with you, then when somebody comes along and tell you the truth, you're gonna feel disrespected. Why? Because you're not used to men being honest with you. You're used to men giving you compliments and kissing your behind. But at the same time, that's not getting you married. They're just saying nice things to sleep with you. Do they really feel that way? Absolutely not. Because if these men truly felt that way, you would see more Black women who are married, more Black women that's in healthy relationships, if these men truly felt that way. So they say these nice things to Black women to sleep with them. Do they really believe it? Absolutely not. Look at Derrick Jackson. Derrick Jackson got rich pandering to Black women. Did Derrick Jackson believe the stuff that he was saying? Absolutely not. But he understood that he can make money lying to Black women. So that's exactly what he did. You make more money lying to Black women opposed to being honest with them. And that's the honest to God truth.
means,
Derrick Jackson is a prime example that you can get filthy rich pandering to Black women. Why? Because Black women don't want to hear the truth. They want to be lied to for the most part. I'm not saying all Black women want to be lied to, but for the most part, you will make more money pandering to them opposed to being brutally honest with them.
Because of the very traumatic experience that we've had as Black people in general, but Black women in this country historically, our perseverance through it all and our ability to be able to make a way out of no way, for generations and generations and generations of raising our children, other people's children, okay? Still maintaining an element of desirability, okay? By still being fly and still keeping ourselves together and educating ourselves and changing our monetary situation. And I think that, not only our children and, Black men that are in the community, I think sometimes they idol worship us for that, which is why you always hear, men say, my mom was a strong Black woman, strong Black woman, strong Black woman. That's where that narrative and where that those kind of terms and verbiage, where those things kind of come in and those key indicators are in the language and letting, us know that this is how we're seen. Right. And we kind of get put on a pedestal for these things. So it's kind of like a pedestal privilege also, where it's like, you've gone through all of these things, we appreciate you. A lot of men come from single Black mothers. And so there's a lot of understanding and coveting and worshiping of Black women, right? Contrary to what a lot of us may believe, and I think these are, again, ideologies and sentiments that are the at-large perception.
I like her. She's honest. I like her. I like this sister right here. She's being honest. There's been a lot of pandering and worshiping Black women. And anytime they get the opposite, when somebody's honest with them, you're hated for being honest with them. You know how many Black women that I don't deal with no more because they cried about the fact that I was honest with them? I'm like, sweetie, you're in your 30s and you're not married. So it doesn't matter that men were nice to you. You're not with any of those men. Take some constructive criticism. I know you're not used to it. I can tell that you're not used to it by the way that you respond to the things that I say. This is the thing with Black women. Most men lie to them. And look at it like this. The men who pander to them, the men who lie with them, they're not even with those guys. They're not even married to those guys. Those guys were not honest with you. If those relationships were so great, you would still be with those guys today. You would still be with those guys today. But you're not. So at some point, you got to do something different to get a better result. Look at all these years Dr. Umar been pandering to Black women. He ain't married not one Black woman. Dr. Umar ain't married one Black woman. But Black women love to hear that nonsense that he preaches, and he ain't married not one of them. This is crazy.
A lot of men come from single Black mothers, and so there's a lot of understanding and coveting and worshiping of Black women, right? Contrary to what a lot of us may believe, you know, and I think these are, again, ideologies and sentiments that are the at-large, you know, perception, right? Because I know there are a lot of women that are basically say, like, these Black men do not love us, they do not be treating us right. No, they don't idolize us, they don't, you know, they will, their mothers, their sisters, and a lot of you guys are sisters, and you know what I'm saying, different things like that, and all of that, right? Daughters. So you understand that there are Black men that do probably feel that way about you, even if it's not somebody that you are romantically involved with or have been romantically involved with. As a result, okay, you guys, because I'm breaking it down, I'm gonna try to make it quick, but I'm breaking it down. As a result of that, you know, our heads are blown up a little bit. Just a little bit. And you couple that, or you know, in tandem with that, if you're talking about us also, you know, being some of the most highly educated people in the country, being in some of the most highest paid jobs and positions in corporate America, you know, within our demographic, if you're talking about just
let's be real. Black women are not the most educated, man. If you look at those degrees that they get, it really amounts to nothing. And I'm not saying this to attack the Black woman, but I got to be honest. Black women don't make more money than men on average. Yes, you got some Black women that's getting to the paper, but on average, Black men still make more money than Black women. Just like white men make more money than white women. Men in general make more money than women. That's not to take away from the sisters who are getting money. But when they say we're the most educated, that's false. That's a lie. That is a lie. If Black women are the most educated, why do they lead in single motherhood? Oh, that's Black men fault. If you're so smart, how do you keep getting tricked by this uneducated man if you're so smart? That's what I mean when I say it don't matter how much education they got or what knowledge they have of God, they can't apply that stuff to their real life. They can't apply that to their real life. You see these women that talk about God and all this religious stuff, they're still single moms who don't have a man for the most part. For the most part, I'm not saying all Black women fall in that category, but a very large percentage of them do fall in that category. Talking about God, a single mom don't have a man. She fall in the same category as a lot of these other chicks who don't have an education, who don't or might not even have a relationship with God. So at some point you are doing something wrong and you don't want nobody to point that out. Because telling Black women the truth is considered bashing. So a lot of men have said, you know what? They're not going to listen anyway. I'm just going to tell this woman what she wants to hear to sleep with her. Telling her the truth. I'm not going to get anywhere telling her the truth. I'm going to tell this woman what she wants to hear so that I can sleep with her. Your Derek Jacksons, your Dr. Umar Johnsons. Dr. Umar been pandering to Black women for years, calling them queens, and Dr. Umar ain't married one Black woman.
You know, entrepreneurship, trailblazing, enterprising, we are covering a lot of ground as Black women, right? And a lot of it has been due to circumstance. A lot of it has been just to pure drive and ambition that we have within us, and, you know, basically maximizing our capacities to its fullest. You know what I'm saying? So with that, a lot of us have gotten the big head, right? And a lot of us do feel like I'm the prize. And although I can't 100% argue with that statement, I think it's important for us to understand too, which is the premise, I believe, of what.
And where has that mentality gotten Black women? Let's be real. I'm the prize. Where has that mentality gotten Black women? If you're the least married group of women in America, that means that mentality isn't working for you. Being the so-called most educated woman, how is that working for you? You're still the least married group of women. There's a reason for everything. Can we get down to the reason why Black women are the least married group of women in America? Now, I know if you're FBA or if you're a part of these conscious communities, you don't want to tell the truth because you don't want that community to get pissed off with you. So you're going to be silent when I ask that question. I get it. You're going to be silent. You don't want the women to get pissed off with you. And you got, listen, and I'm asking you guys a legitimate question. In your honest opinion, why is the Black woman the least married woman in America? Why is that? Why is the Black woman the least married woman in America? Huh? Because you got these women running around with that I'm the prize mentality. Where has that mentality gotten Black women? It's led to single motherhood. That mentality has led them to single motherhood. and jackleg preachers in the church pandering to them to get their money. But I want to listen, I'm asking you guys a straight question. What's the reason for the black woman being the least married group of women in America? What's the reason for that in your honest opinion? Give me some feedback in the comments. There's a reason for everything. Is it black men's fault? Is it the black woman's mentality? Give me your thoughts.
What Kevin Samuels may have been trying to relay is we are both the prize. We are the prize. Not I am the prize, he is the prize. We.
Pandering does work. Like if your goal is to sleep with them and get their money, then yes, pandering does work. You're right. If your goal is to sleep with them and get their money, pandering does work. Look at Dr. Umar Johnson. He's the blueprint of that. Look at Derrick Jackson. Derrick Jackson has pandered to black women for years and got their money. But the whole time he was lying to them, he wasn't honest. The whole time Derrick Jackson was cheating on his wife. But Derrick Jackson realized one thing: he can make a whole lot more money pandering to black women than just telling them what they want to hear. Derrick Jackson is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So if your goal is to sleep with them and get their money, then yes, pandering is highly effective. But if your goal is to heal them, well, then that's almost impossible, because when you're honest with them, they're going to say that you're bashing them. They don't want to hear it. They're going to shut down.
Black men and black women are the prize, right? But again, because this information was spewed out with such direct contact and combat, black women were not prepared. So at this point, then we have to start asking ourselves, why was it so hard for us to digest? Why have we developed a disconnect from hearing truthful analysis about ourselves, somebody being able to call us to the floor to correct us, giving us space and opportunity to grow, and us being receptive to that? Where did that breakdown happen? Because it happened somewhere. And I honestly think it's a lack of strong male influence in the home, okay? I want to make sure that I'm also very clear about the fact that when I talk about an absence of strong male influence, I'm not just talking about women, young girls, whoever, right, in the black female experience that have experienced fatherlessness or lack of a strong male influence in the home. We're not just talking about men that are completely absent. You have some situations where fathers are completely absent from the child of the young girl or the grown girl or whatever, right? Just her experience. And she may have seen him. It's the situations where you hear people talk about, girl, I ain't seen my daddy in 10 years. I ain't seen my daddy in 5 years. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Or I haven't seen him in there's so much variation in that, but that's like a real absentee father, right? So a lot of us have that story. I also want you to be aware of the fact that even if you did have your father in your life, even if you did have another strong male influence in your life, it could have been a grandfather, it could have been a big brother, it could have been an uncle, right? A family friend. If those male influences were not strong in mind, strong in character, strong in will, strong.
See, this is the thing, man. It's like black men are blamed for everything. When black women fail in life, they say, well, she didn't have a strong male figure in her life, right? When a black man fails, they'll say the same thing, even if he was raised by his mother. Now, this is the thing. When those children become successful, they'll give the mother the credit. Well, she was a strong black woman that did the right thing. And in some cases, it has something to do with the kid and their determination to get better results in life. See, this is the thing. When the children turn out to be good, they'll give the mother the credit. But if the children turn out bad, then they'll blame the father, even if the father was never in the picture. So this is the hypocrisy in the black community. And I understand it. If you're from the conscious black community, you can't hold black women accountable. They're going to get pissed off with you. They're going to stop supporting your platform. But think about what I said and let that marinate. Process this information right here. Make sure you do. If a black woman raises children and they become successful, they're going to say she was a strong, single black woman who did the right thing in raising her children. But on the flip side, if those same children become failures, the daughters became strippers and the boys became drug dealers, they're going to blame it on the father who was never there in the first place. They're not going to look at the mother and say that she did anything wrong. They're not going to look at the mother and suggest that, hey, maybe she did something wrong. So the woman is going to be the victor or the victim. The children do good in life, they're gonna give the mother all the praise. The children do bad in life, they're gonna blame the father that was never around in the first place. So in the black community, what does that tell you? You can't hold women accountable for anything, but you must praise them for everything. You can't hold black women accountable for anything, but you must praise them for everything. And unfortunately, that's the mentality in the black community. If you don't believe me, take time to think about what I said. Process that information, and you will come to the same understanding.
In his manhood, if those types of influences weren't present, but you just had a man around, you're kind of in the same boat. A certain man with a certain kind of pedigree and a certain kind of character is going to infuse a different level of game in the young women that he has around him, especially if that's his daughter.
Listen, man, this is why I said I'm starting a new platform, bro. And like we gotta create our own audience of people who want to hear this message. Yes, I'm a foundational black American, but at the same time, my beliefs are a little different from a lot of guys in that movement. You must praise black women for everything, but you can't hold them accountable for anything. Praise black women for everything, but hold them accountable for nothing. And unfortunately, that's the mentality in the black community. If her children become failures, blame the daddy that was never there in the first place. Her children become successful, mama gets all the praise.
His baby sister, you know what I'm saying? He's really going to indoctrinate her into a level of understanding that will help her on her journey through trying to partner with another black man, working with men in, the workforce or in the industry that they choose. I think that's really, really important to know, because a lot of women feel like, oh,
Shout out Los to Truth. And listen, we need some of you brothers. If you appreciate this content, if you really appreciate what I'm doing, bless the Cash App and get us some more support on these shows, man. Let's get the support up, bro. If you guys like honesty, I'ma know by the way. I'ma know that by the amount of support that you guys give. By the likes, by the amount of support. Because we're holding court right now. And right now we're speaking on things that a lot of brothers in these conscious communities can't speak on. Why? Because they're too afraid to offend black women, because black women in some cases are their biggest supporters. So they don't want to piss off their biggest supporters. So they stray away from conversations like this. They stray away from conversations. They stray away from conversations when you got to hold a black woman accountable for anything. They won't have these conversations. Somehow the fingers are always going to go back to the man. They can never have a conversation where they just say, okay, black woman, let's heal you. Let's help you to fix your problems. The black woman problems is always blamed on the black man. But if you a black man and you fail, they're going to say you need to man up and do better. And I get it. I don't have a problem with that. You got to man up and do better. I don't blame my problems on no woman. You ain't never heard me blame my problems on a woman. But anytime there's something wrong with the black woman, they got to flip it and blame the black man for her shortcomings. But when it comes to the black woman's accomplishments, when it comes to her victories, she takes the blame. The black man is never responsible for the black woman's accomplishments, but he's always responsible for her shortcomings and failures. I think I need to make a video about that. Damn, that was deep. The black man is somehow responsible for the black woman's shortcomings and failures, but when it comes to the black woman's accomplishments and victories, the black man never plays a role in why this black woman is successful. Never. He's always blamed for her shortcomings and failures. And you can't tell me I'm lying. If you're from the black community, you know I'm telling the truth. I'm not making this up.
Daddy's girl, or I had my daddy around, or my daddy taught me this, and I'm my daddy's baby, and da 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 da. This is the unpopular opinion about that. Your daddy could have been a sucker. I'm sorry.
Your daddy could have been a sucker. I agree with that. Listen, I agree with a lot of stuff she's saying. Now, there's some things that I disagree with, but I do agree with some of the things that this young lady is saying. Shout out to her. Hannibal Africanus said, black women believe they have higher status than black men in our society. They literally believe we have a lower IQ and they need to lead us. Crazy. Yeah. Unfortunately, you have some women but I met some black women who understand that they need a leader, so I'm not going to throw this on all black women, but we do have a large percentage of black women who do believe that. Shout out to Hannibal Africanus.
I think it's time just a drink. It's just water. Yo,
But you know I'm telling the truth. The black man is always responsible for the black woman's shortcomings and failures. If the black woman don't love her natural hair, she's going to say that's because black men don't love us. He don't like us natural. If the black woman is promiscuous, that's because the black man was never there to protect her. He only took advantage of her. To make a long story short, all of her shortcomings will be blamed on the black man. But all of her victories and accomplishments, she did that because she was a strong black woman. Black men never get the credit for a black woman's accomplishments. He always get the blame for her shortcomings and failures. And you can't tell me I'm lying. If you're from the black community, you know I'm telling the truth.
daddy might have been a sucker. We don't know. We wasn't there. I mean, we can fact check it.
Shout out to Hannibal Africanus. I get it, brother. You was just speaking for the majority, but I had to just give a PSA to people who say Red saying all black women. But shout out to Hannibal Africanus. Hannibal Africanus. I know, brother. You know, you was just speaking for the majority, and shout out to you. I appreciate you for supporting the show.
You know what I mean? Pull his file and kind of see if he's good in every hood. And I'm just like, so
ignorant people think that I got something against black women. My preference is always black women. I just pick and choose the black women that I deal with. I've always been more attracted to black women than any race of women. My preference has always been black women. That's the reality. But it doesn't mean that black women are above criticism because they are my preference. I don't play that game. You know what I mean? The same way I can tell a black woman she's beautiful and lovely is the same way I can correct her when she's doing something wrong. Right? So I'll give you guys balance. You don't see me over here worshiping non-black women. I don't do that on this channel because any woman can be bad for you. It don't matter what race she is. I'm just correcting some of the downfalls of the black woman. I'm correcting the behavior. Well, I'm doing my best to correct it, and hopefully women will take heed to it because you can't force. Listen, you can only deal with somebody that's open to the criticism, somebody that's receptive to the information. And those are the black women that I deal with. The ones who are not, I don't deal with them. They're not for me. Go deal with a guy that's going to praise you and never tell you the truth about yourself. There's plenty of those guys out there, but guess what? You're still not getting married. Think about this. You notice that these guys who pander to black women, they don't marry them. Or you might have a Derek Jackson who is married to a black woman, but he's cheating on his wife while he's calling out black men who are cheaters and black men who don't want to be faithful to their women. This dude got rich pandering to black women, telling them what they wanted to hear. The whole time Derek Jackson was cheating on his wife, sleeping with multiple women, pandering to them for easy money. Dr. Umar say black queens forever and snow bunnies never. Dr. Umar ain't married one black woman, not one of them. Not one of them. But he's telling black men that they should marry black women, but he doesn't want to marry a black woman. But black women are so silly that they listen to these panda bears who lie to them for easy money.
the game that you feel that you might have gotten, the information that you feel you might have received, the assistant that you felt like you might have been, you know, just having access to, it may not have been as sound as you think. Okay, and it may have potentially done more harm than good because his ideology may be, you know, underdeveloped, right? His mindset may be underdeveloped. His discipline, his journey through manhood may be underdeveloped. And if he is giving that game to the women that he has around him, again, the women are going to be in just as bad position as if, you know, you had an absentee father or something like that. When you lack the strong male influence in the home, you cannot get the game that you need to succeed. Okay. You can't get it. You know what I mean?
Okay, but think about the men who did grow up getting that game. Do you think most black women qualify for him? Why would a man that has it all together deal with a woman who's dysfunctional and feel like a man can't tell her nothing about herself? Why would a man of that caliber deal with the majority of these women with that mentality? That's a good question. If you a man that has it together, do you really want to deal with a woman who comes from a broken home with a feminist mindset? Do you really want to deal with that? If you a man that has all these things together, that's a simple question. And I think we know the answer. But I want to get some feedback, some honest feedback. What's the reason for the American black woman being the least married woman in America? What's the reason for that? Because there's a reason for everything. Do you just blame black men, or do you dig deeper to see what's really the problem? I want to get an honest answer. That's an honest question, and I'm looking to get an honest answer. Well, that's a real question, and I'm looking to get an honest answer. I'll put it like that. What's the reason for the American black woman being the least married woman in America? What's the reason for that? Can we be honest? Hey man, we haven't. Hey man, church is in session, man. Hey homie, we looking for honesty, some honest feedback. What's the reason for the American black woman being the least married woman in America? What is the reason for that? Give me some honest feedback.
And a lot of us do have to learn by trial and error as to how the politics of this whole male and female thing go. And everybody can make it seem like, oh, it's not a big deal. I don't really care about that. You know, I'm worried about me. I'm worried about you.
Shout out to Revolutionary Los for the Cash App. I appreciate you, my brother. $ Red 1803. If you're loving the content, let's get back to it though.
Must be concerned about it for the sake of continuing the population, which I feel like is all of our obligation. And even if that doesn't mean that you physically have a child of your own, it is to nurture the community and the children that you have around you. It is to build families and to build communities. If you don't want to build one, then you can help somebody else build one, but you still have to learn how to.
Clarence Williams says she's a feminist. Yeah, that got a lot to do with it. That has a lot to do with it. Right. But if you ask black women, they're not going to be honest about why they're the least married women in America. They're going to make up some type of lame excuse. Right. But I'm asking the men, and then women who are women that's in tune with reality, you're welcome to join this conversation. What's the reason for the American black woman being the least married woman in America? What's the reason for that? Because there's a reason for everything. This didn't happen overnight.
You know, partner with men in order to make that happen. And many of you want to actually have marriages and strong relationships and commitments and your couple's goals and all of that stuff, so I don't want to hear it. And what that brings us to is, if we have not been given the correct tools to be able to, because this is what the thing is too.
The Cash App is on the screen if you're loving this game first thing in the morning. Let's get back to it. The game is fluid.
I'll give you an example. When you have kids, okay, or if you are a teacher or you have kids in a classroom or something like that, we're talking about children, right? Under 10, right? Under 13 even, right? They are going to be super, super, super responsive as it pertains to, you know, maintaining a certain level of discipline in these situations, or, you know, whether it's in the classroom, at home, or whatever. When a man steps into the picture and his voice is present and his presence is, you know, felt in the space, children will acquiesce to that. Children will respond to that in kind by being in pocket. Right? Be quiet. Better shut up. You don't want Mr. Morris to be, you know what I'm saying, yelling at us.
Shout out to Los the Truth. He said no accountability. They want to be men. When you correct them, then you gotta get the "you not my daddy" talk. They don't care about us men feelings. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, I'm just asking. I just want some honest feedback. What's the reason for the black woman, the American black woman, being the least married woman in America? There's a reason for everything, and we can't afford to ignore that.
Or you putting us in a corner, or we don't want to have a timeout with so-and-so. You don't want your daddy to get on your ass, or you don't want, you know what I'm saying? There is a certain level of fear, right? And dominance.
Right. The white woman started the feminist movement, but black women took it to a whole nother level. They did. The white woman started it, but the black woman took it to a whole new level. That is a fact.
That is exercised in those scenarios with children, and that is how they respond to men. And I think that is for a reason, because they are essential, I believe, in giving us the foundation that we need to really be disciplined in what it is that we need to do, right? Because in order to achieve and accomplish anything, we must be disciplined. And I think that this is something that comes natural to them, and especially if it is something that is nurtured, that is how they really cement their position in the household, you know.
And that's, you know, unfortunately. Let's see what.
Hello and good.
I don't want to hear this guy. I wanted to hear old girl. Hold on. Let's go back. Let's go back to what she was saying.
The prize. We, black men and black women, are the prize, right? But again, because this information.
Well, what has that gotten black women? I'm the prize and I don't need no man. Where has that mentality gotten black women? Absolutely nowhere. It led to single motherhood. It led to obesity. It led to the most overall debt. That's what it's led to. That mentality has gotten black women absolutely nowhere. I'm the prize, and now this whole crazy stuff.
Information was spewed out with such direct contact and combat, black women were not prepared. So at this point, then we have to start asking ourselves, why was it so hard for us to digest? Why have we developed a disconnect from hearing truthful analysis about ourselves, somebody being able to call us to the floor to correct us, giving us space and opportunity to grow and us being receptive to that? Where did that breakdown happen? Because it happened somewhere. And I honestly think it's a lack of strong.
Shout out to you, J Cash 39. Black men never had an oppressive patriarchy like white men, right? There was no reason for black women to join the feminist movement. Why? Because black men never created laws to oppress anyone in this country. We never created laws that said that women couldn't vote. We never created laws that said that women couldn't work. White men created those laws. So there was no reason for the black woman to join that movement in the first place, because black men were powerless. We never oppressed anybody in this country. So there was no reason for the black woman to join that woman empowerment feminist movement. There was no reason for it. The black woman was tricked out of her position. That's exactly what happened. The black man has never had the power to oppress anyone, let alone his woman. What black women should have did was told a white woman, no, you got to take that up with your man, because our man never created these laws. Your man created those laws. So black women had no business joining that movement. It was counterproductive for our community. It was counterproductive for the black family. And what you see today is a bunch of strong-headed, independent women that's gotten absolutely nowhere. That mentality has led them to single motherhood with broken families.
Influence in the home, okay? I want to make sure that I'm also very clear about the fact that when I talk about an absence of strong male influence, I'm not just talking about women, young girls, whoever, right, in the black female experience that have experienced fatherlessness or lack of a strong male influence in the home. We're not just talking about men that are completely absent. You have some situations where fathers are completely absent from the child of the young girl or the grown girl or whatever, right? Just her experience. And she may have seen him. It's the situations where you hear people talk about, girl, I ain't seen my daddy in 10 years. I ain't seen my daddy.
Right. A lot of black women and females abandoned the black power movement and hopped on that woman empowerment movement, which was a form of feminism, womanism. The black man ain't never oppressed anybody. He's never oppressed his woman. We never created any of those laws to oppress the woman in America. Black women had no damn business joining that foolish movement. No reason at all. You got manipulated by the white woman and tricked out of your position. That's exactly what happened.
5 years I didn't, you know what I'm saying, or I haven't seen him in there's so much variation in that, but that's like a real absentee father, right? So a lot of us have that story. I also want you to be aware of the fact that even if you did have your father in your life, even if you did have another strong male influence in your life, it could have been a grandfather, it could have been a big brother, it could have been an uncle, right? A family friend. If those male influences were not strong in mind, strong in character, strong in will, strong in his manhood, if those types of influences weren't present.
All right, let's go to Kevin Samuel. Shout out to her, man. I think she was fair. She was cool. She wasn't ridiculous like a lot of these women are. I want you to check this out.
Knows how.
I let you do that for a reason. You kind of just froze on me.
Now I want you to see this conversation that Kevin Samuels is having with this black woman, and you decide if he's bashing her or just giving her a reality check. Let's get to the content.
Hear me?
You froze now, but how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited that you accepted my call. How you doing?
All right, how old are you?
I am 26.
All right, well, we're talking about older women are mad about this dating situation.
Well, listen, I'm single, and can you see me and hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I can't see myself? Okay, well, for any reason, You know, I have a hard time finding a good man right now. Like, I think I'm a good. I believe I'm a good catch.
Did you hear what I said?
What you say?
He said black women go pro-black from 38 to 45, or they go pro-black after they become single mothers. Like they're never pro-black in their prime. Like when they're at their best, when their sexual market value is high, they're never pro-black at that time. You know, they get on this conscious pro-black stuff after they've been screwed over by multiple men and they're left with children. They're left to raise these children by themselves. Am I saying all black women? No, what I'm saying is anything over 50% is the majority. So they get on this consciousness once they get screwed over by a certain amount of men. Then they want to embrace consciousness. You know, unfortunately, that's the reality. It's kind of like men who become Muslims after they go to prison. You know, they got to get punished by the law to embrace God, to find God. So that's the same thing with these women. They want to get conscious and they want to start praying to God after they've been screwed over by men, now that they're no longer in their prime years. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And you can't tell me I'm lying.
Well, I told you about the topic. We just jumped into what you want to talk about.
Oh, excuse me.
And then you're going to say you're having a hard time finding a good man. I let you do that for a reason.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, well, I'll tell you about myself. I am single.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a homeowner. I have no children. I'm 26.
Okay.
I believe I'm attractive. I believe I'm friendly. I'm nice. So I don't know why I don't got this ring yet.
What's wrong? What's some of your flaws?
Well, I am submissive, but I'm not going to submit to just any man. Like,
we can't say that you're submissive. We have to judge that by a man's standards, because what's submissive to you might not be submissive to a man. So we have to judge that by a man's standards, not yours.
stability. I don't, and you know, at my age now, I'm 26.
Okay,
and
what are some of your flaws?
My flaws would be, well, shit, I don't know. I'm telling you about myself.
No, you told me about your positives. Tell me about some of your negatives.
She told you everything good about herself, but she can't tell you, okay, well, if you're 26 and you want to get married, okay, if you're such a great catch, how come you haven't found anybody yet? Can you name 2 of your flaws? But it all goes back to what I said. Women never see themselves for who they really are. They don't, because men lie to them in order to sleep with them. Most men just tell these women what they want to hear to sleep with them, so they're not used to hearing the truth.
Tell me something about some of your flaws.
I don't know. I guess that maybe someone who's dating me would be able to tell you what my flaws are.
Mm-mm. You should tell me what your flaws are.
I'm not perfect, but I can't just point out anything that's wrong with me.
That's part of the problem right there.
That's my flaw.
I just said part of the problem. I mean, you're not perfect, but you can't tell me your flaws. But you told me everything that you think sells you. Okay, cool. What are your flaws? You can't name one thing?
I'm being honest. I feel like someone who may be experienced with me can tell you what my flaws might be.
You're experienced with you.
I am experienced with me. I'm telling you what I feel like. Well, shit, what am I saying, actually?
Exactly.
What happened?
It's just on you, not me. You're doing something with the phone, and I mean,
no.
You're going into a job interview.
I was trying to get it. I can see myself now.
You're going on a job interview.
Now, some people would say maybe it had something to do with her attitude and her weight, because she looks like a heavy-set woman. She looks like a heavy-set woman, and her attitude and weight could be a part of the problem. I'm just giving you some honesty, not trying to tear the woman down, but at some point, the first step to healing is honesty. And if we can't be honest, then what are we doing?
And you're telling me everything that's good. And they say, all right, well, tell me some of the things you need work on. Nothing. I'm perfect. Oh, I'm not perfect,
saying I'm perfect.
Yeah, but
no. My problem is I will not submit to just anyone.
No, that's not stability. A flaw. That's a veiled positive. Nope, that's not.
See, the problem with these women is they'll tell you, well, I'm not going to submit to anyone, but you gave your body to men that you didn't submit to. So what they'll tell you is, I'm only going to submit to my husband, but you gave your body to men that's not your husband. You got all these soul ties and you ain't married to nobody. The mentality is backwards. It don't matter how much money they make. It don't matter how educated they are. A lot of these women are foolish and delusional, and that's a major problem. I'm only going to submit to my husband. Okay, but you'll give your body to men that's not your husband. So she'll give up her body to a man that's not her husband, but she won't submit to a man that's not her husband. That is a backwards mentality, and you wonder why these women got high body counts.
It's not a flaw. That's a veiled positive. See, in the job interview, what that question is tell me your strengths. All right, here's what it is. Tell me your weaknesses. Well, one of my weaknesses is people tell me that I tend to be overworked, but I'm a hard worker, and I just want to do a good job. Now, see, that's a veiled positive. At 26 years old, you know you. You should know you. You should know you well enough to know.
And I'm explaining that.
Stop.
So listen to me.
No. See, that's another one. I've already pointed it out to you initially. Don't do it again. You're not going to talk over me or none of that stuff, because you should know things that you need to improve upon.
So what I'm saying is, what I have had conflict with relationships is submission. Now, I am so willing to submit. Okay, I'm a very naturally submissive person, but I cannot submit to a man who just doesn't have it there together. So that's my problem. They tell me that.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So I'm argumentative.
No, hold on. He doesn't have it there together. What does that mean?
So for me, what that means is you ain't got your shit together.
What does that mean?
Straight up, you ain't got your shit together.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It still has no context.
What that means is you don't have stability. Okay, you don't have stability. You don't have a home of your own. You have a roommate. Your brother lives in the next room. Okay, you living with your brother. Your bros are there.
These are men you've dated?
These are men that I have dated, yes.
You had a relationship with them?
Yes.
See, the thing is, I gotta be brutally honest with you women. She talked about she got a house, she got this. A man that has his own house that makes good money is not gonna settle with a woman like her. He doesn't have to, because there's plenty of women who look better. They look better physically and they have better attitudes. So the only type of man that's going to deal with her is a man who doesn't have his stuff together. Those are the only men that's going to deal with her. Right? And that's the reality. Because you got men out there who are high earners that make decent money. Do you really think they want to wife a woman up like this? Absolutely not. So the money ain't the problem. It's a you problem. Right? There's women out here who are absolutely gorgeous and they can attract those men. She's not one of them. She's not one of those women who can attract a man of that caliber, because men of that caliber they might have sex with her, but they're not going to wipe her up, because they look at it like, I know women with a better attitude. I know women who are in better shape. I know women who are just all around better. I don't have to settle for this. So the same way that you don't want to settle for those dudes with roommates is the same way that high caliber men don't want to settle for her. They don't need your money, so they're not impressed with your money. They're looking for beauty, femininity. They're looking for beauty and femininity in a woman with a good heart, a woman with a good spirit. That's what they're looking for. And you don't possess those qualities. I'm sorry.
Did it get to the intimate level?
Yes.
So you'll date a man, have sex with a man, but you don't submit to him.
I do, but I feel like
But why?
I just told you, see, these women say, I'm not going to submit to a man if he ain't my husband, but you'll give your body to a man that ain't your husband. That is a backwards mentality. 100%.
You having sex with a man?
What does that tell you? These women are horny and they need that pipe late at night. These women are horny and they need that pipe late at night. I ain't going to submit to no man that ain't my husband, but you'll give your body to several men who ain't your husband. You wonder why the body count on these women are so high. Because they'll sleep around. See, this is the mentality of these women. I'll sleep around until I find the right man. So in the meantime, she's dating and sleeping with different men. But she told Kevin, I ain't gonna submit to no man if he ain't my husband, but you give me your body to all these men who didn't marry you. And in most cases, these women have babies by men who didn't marry them, but they want some man who's not the father of their children to treat them like a queen when they never required any of those things from the men they had babies with, from the men they slept with. That's a backwards mentality. And I know a lot of ladies who fall in that category. They didn't require none of their baby daddies to marry them. They didn't require none of the men that they slept with to marry them. Now, all of a sudden, she's in her 30s. She's a single mom. Now she wants some man to treat her like a queen and do things that the men who gave her babies never did for her in the first place.
You had the shit together. You knew that before you did all that.
because sometimes it be more.
A lot of these women try to lead with money and education, and guess what? A man with money and his stuff together is not impressed with your money. He doesn't need your money. Now, you having money is a good thing. It shows that you're responsible, but being responsible with money doesn't mean that you are wife material. Being responsible doesn't make you wife material. And a lot of black women don't understand that. They believe that their college degrees and their occupation somehow makes them wife material, and they're just sadly mistaken. You got men out there who will marry a woman with a regular job who looks better than you, a woman who's more feminine with a better attitude, and she ain't got to be a homeowner. That woman might have a regular job just getting by, but she looks better, she has a better attitude, and she's more feminine. Your money and your college education does not make you wife material. I'm sorry, it does not. It shows that you're responsible as an adult, but it doesn't make you wife material. It shows that you're responsible, but it doesn't make you wife material just because you can pay your bills, just because you might own your own house. None of that stuff makes you wife material. It just shows that you're responsible.
What I'm
Listen,
pointing, no. What
I'm answering
I'm
your
pointing out
question.
is you date men. We all pick who we date.
But can I answer your question,
We've
please?
already answered it.
I didn't. You asked me why am I having sex with someone who doesn't have their shit together? So let me answer it, please.
No. You pick the man you date.
So you asked me a question,
You
but I can't
pick the
answer.
man you date.
That's not fair. So listen, sometimes it's more about
See, this is the way this is going to go.
you have
When women start making money, the less feminine they become, because in their mind, they're competing with men, and that makes them less feminine. Once women start competing with men, it makes them less feminine. You're going to get masculinity, no feminine energy. That's the reality, unfortunately, when you deal with modern females.
This is the way this is going to go. It's going to go this way.
So listen, sometimes it's more about
See, this is the way this is going to go.
You have a connection.
This is the way this is going to go. It's going to go this way because I'm trying to run the show. I know the questions I'm asking. It's not about being.
But you're not letting me answer the question.
Okay, look here, lady. It's about to end up really bad. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you really want to do that because you come on here trying to get some information to find out something, And I asked you what your flaws are. You already shown that you're not introspective enough to even understand what's going on. You said the problem is I can't submit to a man who don't have his shit together. But you chose to date somebody who didn't have his shit together. You chose to have sex with somebody who didn't have his shit together. So you can't say I'm not going to submit to somebody that I chose.
But also at the same time, you didn't let me answer your question, which I would really love to. And also not only
Right. Money and resources is a flex for men, not for women. Men don't date women for their money and resources. Now, of course, we want a woman with her stuff together. We don't want a woman that's a complete bum, but you can't lead with that like it's a flex. You cannot lead with that. If you got your stuff together, fine, I can dig it, but it doesn't make you wife material just because you got money and a college degree. That doesn't make you wife material. It means that you might be responsible, but wife material, it doesn't mean that. And unfortunately, a lot of black women don't understand that. Black women were taught that their money and education makes them wife material, and they're sadly mistaken. That mentality has gotten black women absolutely nowhere. It's led to single motherhood and broken families. That's exactly where that mentality has led modern black women.
for you, but for the audience.
I'm okay with the audience.
Can I please answer the question? I'm trying to submit to you right now and answer the question. So, like I was saying, sometimes as humans, we connect with people, okay? Like on a vibe. We call it vibes now. You catch the vibe, and sometimes you might really have a certain vibe with someone who is so strong and so connective that he might so we might be there on that level of connection and chemistry, but he has shit that he needs to get together, and I might be a step above where he's at. Okay, so I'm a homeowner, I have cars, I have a good career, and me and him connect with personalities and the chemistry and the sex. Okay, but he is not where I would like him to be, maybe financially. What's that mean? Time out?
Yeah, because everything you just said, I don't know what you think. If you can have your cars and everything, we don't care about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
My question is this: why can't you deal with a man? Why can't you pick a man who has his shit together up front?
I can. That's what I go for. But like,
why can't you get a man who has his shit together up front?
I do. I have a lot of options. I mean, I'm dating.
They don't like her. The reality of it is this: like, okay, well, why don't you get a man with all that stuff together? Because the men who do have that don't want her. They don't. They might want sex with her, but that's it. The men who do want to marry her are the men who ain't, the guys who will wife her are the guys who don't have their stuff together. But the guys who do have their stuff together don't view her as wife material. Let's make a long story short. This is simple. As simple as ABC. As simple as 2 + 2. It's that easy. It's not complicated. The men with their stuff together do not view her as wife material. They don't want her. The men who do like her are the men who don't have their stuff together. I said this years ago. I said black women who make decent money, they got to accept the fact that they're going to have to get a man that makes less money. Black women, and I know you don't want to hear this, but I got to be honest with you. A woman like this has to deal with the fact that the only man that's going to deal with her is a man that makes less money. Those are the only men who will wife her up, because men who make more money don't want her. That's the reality of it. Not outside of sex. They don't want her for anything outside of sex. They'll have fun with her. They'll go on a date with her, but they're not going to wife her up. The guys who do want to wife her up, she feels like she's better than them. The guys who will wife her up, she feels like she is somehow better than them. Well, let me tell you something. The men who make money like you or more, they feel like they're better than you, which means they're not going to settle. So now what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Ma'am, I asked you about your flaws and weakness, and you said, I can't submit to a man who's don't have his shit together. And all you did is basically explain the fact that if you can get with a man who ain't got his shit together, you got time to get with a man who does have his shit together. The question is, will he pick you?
No. The question is, will he pick you? Well, I'm gonna give you the answer, Kevin. They're not gonna pick her. They don't pick her. They date her and have fun with her, but they don't want to marry her. I'm talking about the men with their stuff together. They don't want to wife her up. The men who will wife her up, she feels like she's better than them. And that's the problem. Feels like she's better than them. It's not that she is better than them. She feels like she's better than them. But we all know feelings are like a-holes. Everybody has them.
Yeah. The question is, will he pick you?
I'm picking who I vibe with, and the niggas I vibe with be the broke ones. They be who I vibe and connect with on a chemistry level. They don't be there. They don't match up as of right.
So she said the guys that she vibe with be the broke ones because those are the only men that want to take you serious, but you feel like you're better than them. And the guys that you don't qualify for, they listen, the guys that she want are the guys that she don't qualify for. She believes because she has a level of success and money in the house that somehow that makes her wife material when it does not. See, it's okay for women to feel like they're better than men, but it's a major problem when a man tells a woman that he's better than her and she don't qualify to be with him. That's a major problem. But it's no problem as long as a woman is telling a man that she's too good for him. Don't nobody have a problem with that.
They be who
Got his shit together? You got time to get with a man who does have his shit together. The question is, will he pick you?
I'm picking who I vibe with, and the niggas I vibe with be the broke ones. They be who I vibe and connect with on a chemistry level. They don't be there. They don't match up as of right now. They're not connecting. They're not there.
What makes you think a man who's there wants to connect with a woman who calls men niggas and talks about vibes?
You're right. You're right. I need to work on my language. You know what? You had a very valid point there.
That's what you got from that?
Let's be real. This is a fat girl right here. This is a fat girl. You know, fat girls can be fun to have sex with because some of them have big butts and big breasts. So men will still have sex with them, but a lot of men don't want to marry them or wife them up. You know, you can tell that she's a little pudgy fat girl, right? Doesn't mean, and she's not a bad looking woman. What I'm saying is she could stand to lose some weight and she needs an attitude adjustment. She needs to lose some weight and she also needs an attitude adjustment. That'll work in her favor if she considered that. And not just consider it, put it into actions, press play and get it done.
Yes. I needed to hear that. Yes, you're
so in other
right.
words, men who are at that level, would they pick you?
No.
You're right. And I appreciate this.
What does it matter? So someone has to have a home for you to submit to them?
I would like an independent, stable person as my partner.
Stable meaning what?
Stable meaning they have their own home, they have their own vehicle, they can afford a meal, they're not on assistance. That is what stability.
That sounds like an average adult.
Yeah, I would like an
But ma'am, let's cut to the chase. You're trying to say that you want somebody who's stable, but you describe what we call a luxury lifestyle. You own several cars. You said I own my home, right?
I am a homeowner.
Okay.
Yes.
You're paying for it, or you own the home?
I own the home.
Mm-hmm. Where did you go to school?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Where? It's the university.
Cleveland State.
What's your degree in?
Business.
Business what?
Business administration.
And what year did you graduate?
17.
17? What's your career?
I'm doing a little bit of everything.
What's your career or your profession?
Well, I run 2 different bars right now.
She could lose some weight, right? The reality of it is she could lose some weight, and we don't know what she looks like outside of that wig. You know, you can tell that she's a pudgy, fat woman. You know, so losing weight will help, and an attitude adjustment will help as well. You know, I'm just giving you some honesty.
General manager at 2 different bars, and I make good money.
You run 2 bars?
I do.
How long have you been? You're a general manager at 2 bars.
Yes.
And you graduated with a business what degree?
Administration.
What kind of car do you own?
It's a Jeep Compass.
What's the other one?
I also have a Nissan Rogue.
And you own the house outright.
I own my house. I bought it when I was 24, and I'm 26.
That's good though. You know, that's good that she owns her own home. That's an accomplishment. You know, salute to you for owning a home at 26. That's great. But that doesn't mean that you have wife qualities just because you have material things. And a lot of black women don't understand that. Black women think because they have a career and a college degree that somehow that makes them wife material, and it does not. You know how many women make good money but make terrible wives, who are not submissive, who lacks femininity, who brings in tons of masculine energy? Come on, man. I mean, that's good for you as an adult. Okay, you own a home. That's an accomplishment. Right. But that has nothing to do with you being somebody's wife. You might not have the qualities that a man is looking for when it comes to wiping a woman up. That's the reality.
Where'd the money come from?
My jobs. I bartend, and I also am the general manager.
You graduated in 2017, so that was it. You've also been out of school for 4 or 5 years. You made enough money.
My credit is good. It was mainly off of credit.
Good credit, but you made enough money to buy a home in a
Yes.
2-year period?
Yes. Is that shocking?
If you say you own the deed, yeah.
Really? I mean, do you think I'm lying or something?
Oh, no, ma'am, I'm asking you.
It was mainly off of
Excuse me,
credit.
excuse me. Whoa.
To be
No,
totally
because you don't see, when you hear me talking, due respect, ma'am, you're supposed to stop. You can't, I don't know why women think you're going to talk over a man or through a man. See, if men were to do that, it will come down to a fight.
Really? A fight?
What he's telling her is, one of your problems that we see is you don't know how to be quiet when a man is talking. And when it comes to you finding a husband, that's going to be a major turnoff for a man that's looking for a wife. I'm just having a conversation with you. I'm already irritated based on the fact that you're running your mouth when I'm talking. So I can only imagine that a man that's dealing with you is like, that's crazy, because that's a major character flaw. Why would a man wife up a woman who runs her mouth when he's talking? Be quiet and listen. It's not going to kill you to listen. It's not going to kill you to listen. And one thing that I notice about a lot of these modern chicks, one of their biggest character flaws is their mouth. One of the biggest character flaws is their mouth. They don't know when to stop talking. They don't know when to listen. That's a major problem in the black community. Well, I'm not going to let a man tell me what, okay, well, fine. Be satisfied with your position. This is why men have placed you in a sex-only category, SOC, sex-only category. But guess what? There's men out there who will marry her, but these are the men that she feels like she's better than. The men who want to marry her are the so-called broke guys. But the men with money, the men with status don't view her as wife material. That's why ain't nobody wiped her up. She can get married tomorrow. Maybe she can get married soon, but guess what? It ain't gonna be the type of man that she wants to be with. The type of man that she wants to be with, she don't qualify for that. It don't matter how much money she got. It doesn't matter that she's a homeowner. She don't qualify for the man that she wants. The men who will wife her up, she feels like she's better than them.
A physical fight or
Yes, because you're trying to overtalk someone. That means you're trying to dominate a conversation. Why do you think that's acceptable to try to overtalk a man? Because you heard me talking. And you're laughing, but again,
yeah, because it's comical to me.
I bet you'll see it on replay.
It's comical to me. And you want to know what else is comical? The fact that you're overweight and you believe that you're wife material because you have a house or you make a certain amount of money, and none of those things make you wife material. A woman bragging about her money is not a flex. Only broke men get married to women based on their money. You know, a man with no money might find that impressive, but a man that has his own money together, that has savings, he's not impressed by that. He's looking for a woman with certain qualities, especially when you think about wiping a woman up. She needs to start with losing weight. She needs an attitude adjustment, and she needs to lose some weight. This woman needs a serious reality check.
It's comical to you to think that you date men who can't get their shit together, but look at the way you talk and the way you're acting. And I ask you, can you get with a man at that level? Because this aggressive kind of domineering behavior.
Am I being aggressive?
What do you think? Do you think your voice is bigger than mine? Is it deeper than mine? Then why are you trying to overtalk me when I speak?
I am a woman.
But
why
again,
would my
when I
voice...
talk, you're still trying to raise your voice and get higher.
Well, I'm a woman, and my voice can definitely not be deeper than yours.
You're female. You're female. I'll give you that one. And the issue is, again, man.
Oh, so you don't agree that I am a woman?
I don't know you, but I'm telling you.
So I'm not a woman? I'm a female?
You're woman, female, lady, different things. But what I'm telling you is, what I'm seeing is, you said it yourself. Men have told you you're aggressive.
They told me that I am what?
Aggressive.
No.
That's what you said earlier. In any event, the issue that I'm saying, is like anybody else is saying, is you don't even know what's going on with you.
So what would you suggest for me?
Therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy. We attract what we are.
We attract who we are.
Yeah,
okay.
Due respect to your money and everything else, that matters not to us.
So what do you suggest that I change or that I do to get a man that I deserve? And that
no, you can start by losing some weight. Number one. Number two, you need an attitude adjustment. Number three, you need a reality check. See, Kevin was being nice to her. He could have easily told her your weight has something to do with that. Ain't the only problem you have, but you need to start with losing some weight. Do you really think men who are high earners with options don't want a fat wife? Men who are high earners that make decent money are not looking for fat wives. Then you got to deal with the fact that she's delusional. She needs an attitude adjustment. No man with options wants to deal with that. Kevin was being nice to her because he could have easily told her her weight was a part of the problem, but he never said anything about her weight. At least I didn't hear him say anything about her weight.
Who also deserves me. I believe I have.
What do you mean a man that you deserve?
What do I mean by a man that I deserve?
Mm-hmm.
A good man. What I'm asking is, based off of what you've...
See, You know the problem with these conscious communities, they never had these conversations with black women. They never tell black women that their weight and their attitude is keeping them unmarried. So black women feel good listening to these conscious community members who make that content, but those guys are not being honest with black women about why they're not getting married. Let me tell you something. All you black women who've been listening to the Signetter TVs and all of that, that content ain't helping you get, that's not going to help you to get married. It'll make you feel good in the meantime to hear somebody talk about white supremacy and tethers and all that stuff. It makes you feel good, but that content ain't gonna help you to get married, right? Because those brothers are not being honest with black women about their character flaws. They might say some good things about black empowerment and what black people need to do moving forward, but they're not being honest with black women about their character flaws. They're not being honest with black women about the fact that they're not telling black women this is why you're not getting married. They're not being honest with the women at all in these conscious movements. They're not. They avoid these conversations over there and they pretend like they don't see the problems that black women bring to the table. That's the problem with these conscious brothers. Talking about immigrants, tethers, and white supremacy all day, that's not going to help black women to get married. It's not.
Heard from me and what I provided the information about me, what do you think that I need to do in order for me to be satisfied in a good relationship? What do you think that I need to do, or what do I need to change about myself?
How tall are you?
Huh?
How tall are you?
How old am I?
How tall are you?
I am 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds. So I'm thick.
Whoa.
It's not thick.
Oh, she said 5'4" and 200 pounds. I'm 6'1". You weigh the same as me. This woman is 5'4" and 200 pounds. That's a part of the problem. Do you think these conscious community brothers will be honest about? Do you really think they'll be honest with this woman about why she's not married? Hell no. They're gonna tell her black men need to get their stuff together. Not once will any one of these conscious brothers tell her, baby, you need to lose some weight. You need an attitude adjustment. Your education, career, and your house does not make you wife material. The problem with the conscious community, they're not honest with black women. Those conversations about tethers, immigrants, and white supremacists that's not going to help black women to get married. It's good for black empowerment. It's good to have those conversations for the sake of black empowerment. But when you're talking about immigrants and white supremacists all day, that's not going to help black women to get married. These black women need a reality check. And these brothers in the conscious community are too afraid to be honest with black women. They're not honest with them, and that's the problem. 5'4", 200 pounds with a bad attitude. We see why you're not married. Do you really think men with options is looking for a woman who's 5'4", 200 pounds? Let's talk about a man who makes good money, decent credit. Maybe he got his own home, or maybe he's renting a home until he finds something that he wants to buy. Do you really think a man of that caliber with options is looking to wife up a woman who's 5'4" and 200 pounds? Seriously.
In a good relationship, what do you think that I need to do, or what do I need to change about myself?
How tall are you?
Huh?
How tall are you?
How old am I?
How tall are you?
I am 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds. So I'm thick.
I'm thick.
It's not thick. That's obese.
Okay.
I'm 6'4". You weigh as much as me. That's not thick. It's obese.
She said, I'm thick. And guess what? A lot of men have told her she's thick because they want to hit. Maybe she has a big butt. Maybe she has some big breasts. Men will still sleep with her. You know, a lot of black men will look past the fact that a woman is overweight, but it doesn't mean that they're going to wife her. It means that they'll just have sex with her. And that's exactly what men have been doing, just having sex with her, but they're not looking to wife her. She said, I'm 5'4", 200 pounds, and that means I'm thick. Kevin said, no, it means that you're obese. Do you think any one of those men that she's dealt with ever told her that she was fat or obese? I bet money none of those men who had sex with her ever told her that. It takes a man that's not having sex with her. It takes a man that's not even trying to have sex with her to be honest with her. Because I guarantee you the majority, I bet all of those They lied to her to have sexual access. When Kevin told her she's obese, she was shocked because she's never had a man be honest with her. She's never had a man that was honest with her. And that's what keeps these women delusional, because too many men lie to them in order to sleep with them.
Hi.
How are you?
I am 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds. So I'm thick.
It's not thick. That's obese.
Okay.
I'm 6'4" and you weigh as much as me. That's not thick.
Shout out to Marcus for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Marcus, for blessing the Cash App. Let's get some more of you brothers, man, to support this beautiful game when King Supreme slides on through with this game. It's beautiful. Get us some more contributors if you appreciate this content. Now, like I said, she's never had a man be honest with her. She had the look of surprise on her face when Kevin told her she was obese, because nobody has ever told her. All these thirsty, you know what these thirsty men tell her? Damn, baby, you thick. Knowing damn well she's obese and she can lose 50 to 60 pounds. But none of those guys who want to sleep with her has ever told her that.
It's obese.
You want my measurements?
I don't care. It's obese. Think it's obese.
Hi.
How are you?
I am 5'4" and I weigh 200 pounds. So I'm thick.
It's not thick. That's obese.
Okay.
I'm 6'4" and you weigh as much as me. That's not thick. It's obese.
You want my measurements?
I don't care. It's obese. More than a 30 BMI is obese, ma'am. 5'4", 200 pounds is larger than the average running back.
You want me a running back?
I said 5'4", 200 pounds is larger than the average running back, height, weight adjusted.
Okay.
And calling it thick is a problem.
Okay.
I'll tell you why it's a problem, because it's unhealthy. That's number one. Number two, when you say deserve, what do you want to be married?
Yes.
You want children?
I don't have children. I like to
So
plan
you
my
want children?
Yes, I want to plan them.
Well, that's a good thing. She don't have children. That's a good thing. You know, she's 26. She don't have children. If she lost some weight and worked on adjusting her attitude, then maybe, just maybe, she would have a chance at getting the type of man that she wants. But right now, it's just not a chance in hell. Not a snowball chance in hell. You know, that's just the reality of the situation, baby. You got to be honest with women. The reason why a lot of black women never learn, because a lot of men are not being honest with them. These black men in the conscious community who talk about white supremacy, they're not being honest with these women, which is why these women are delusional, which is why they never learn. You black men in these conscious communities, you black men in these black churches, you're doing a major disservice for the black community, because you're not being honest with these women about why they can't get married and why men only want to have sex with them. You're not being honest with these ladies. That's keeping them delusional.
With my husband.
How many kids would you like to have? How many kids would you like to have?
I definitely believe that I am a boy mom, so I would like one son, but my max would be 3 kids.
How many kids would you like to have?
3 would be my max.
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're married and pregnant with the first kid?
I would like.
Let's be real, man. Big girls got to pay what they weigh. They got to pay like they weigh. And I know that might sound harsh, but I got to give you the honest, hard-hitting facts. Big girls got to pay like they weigh. You're not going to see men that's going to listen. Men with options are not going to provide for some woman that's 5'4", 200 pounds. They're not looking to provide for a woman like that. They're looking for women that's in shape, beautiful and feminine. They'll provide for a woman like that. But why do I feel the need to provide for a woman that's already independent, that already has her own house? She's 5'4" and 200 pounds. Why would I provide for a woman that's obese and overweight? That makes no sense. Men with options are not going to do that. That's some honesty for you.
Like to be a stay-at-home mom.
What did your mother do for a living?
My mother is a nurse.
What'd your father do for a living?
My father was never involved.
Okay. What'd your grandmother do for a living?
She was also a nurse.
What'd your grandfather do for a living?
He was not involved either.
Were you raised to be a stay-at-home wife?
I'm sorry?
Were you raised to be a wife?
Well, what it sounds like is, it sounds from what I just
See,
said.
listen, there's men who will sleep with her because some men have a fetish for women with big breasts and big butts. And a lot of these fat chicks have big butts and big breasts, but that's not getting them married. They're just accumulating bodies, but they're not getting married. Black men in these conscious communities, they're not honest with black women about why they can't get married. They're not being honest with them. And that's keeping them delusional because too many men are telling them they're thick when really they're fat and obese. And you got too many men out there who will tell these women what they want to hear in order to sleep with them. When Kevin Samuels told this woman she was obese, she was shocked. Why? Because none of those men that slept with her has ever told her that. None of those men have slept with her. None of those men were honest with her. None of them was honest with her. So listen, man, we're going to wrap this show up, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's Red Supreme, King Supreme. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys for showing up. I got some more content coming up at 2 p.m. I'll be back at 2 p.m. with some more content. Hit the like button, support the show, and hit that share button. And oh, yeah, subscribe to King Supreme. We're going to get this channel in the algorithm, man. We got big things, baby. Big